Hello, Goddess. Welcome to the very first episode of the Childfree Goddess podcast, a podcast made for and by a child-free woman to empower you in your child-free choice wherever you are in your journey. My name is Wilmarie Hernandez. I'm a transformational life coach for child-free women, creator of the Instagram community Life Without Kids, the Kid-Free Blueprint, the Child-Free Woman Circle community in Discord, and the Child-Free Sisterhood group program. Before we start, I would like to invite you to take a couple of deep breaths, relax, maybe go grab your favorite drink, and just chill with me. I want this time we spend together to add good energy to your day. So today is my birthday, and I cannot think of a better gift than the opportunity to use my voice, my story, and all the lessons that I've learned to accompany you in your own journey of becoming a confident, empowered, and deeply satisfied child-free woman. This is how I'm celebrating today. In this first episode, I want to share part of my child-free journey of how I remember I wasn't just a child-free woman, but a whole child-free goddess. And I hope this episode helps you remember too. My child-free story began early on when I was around 11 years old. I say it began then because that was the first time when I first said out loud that I did not want to have kids. Of course, I didn't really know what that truly meant at the time. I just had this feeling inside of me telling me that something wasn't right in the way women lived. Despite having these feelings early on, I still grew up thinking that having kids was an inevitable part of my destiny, and it seemed to be that way for every woman. I just thought somehow it would happen, just like I knew I would go to college and get a job and eventually find a boyfriend. I mean, how could I truly believe that life would be any different if I hadn't seen any different? And every conversation with adults about my future always involved how many kids I would like to have and how would I name my baby if I had a girl or a boy. I knew that picture didn't really excite me, but I didn't know any other path. So I unconsciously learned, just as you probably learned too, that an essential part of my womanhood was becoming a mother. That basically being a woman equals being a mother. And that absolutely nothing that I could do or accomplish would be as important, valued, and sacred as birthing children. I saw it all around me, in my family, on TV, in magazines. The only thing that would guarantee that I will experience real love and a sense of true fulfillment as a woman was becoming a mother. So when I got older and I realized that the idea of becoming a mother wasn't something I truly wanted, like the young woman around me did, it hit me. I am different. I sound crazy to people. And it doesn't matter how much I accomplish, I will never be looked up to, respected, loved, valued, or cherished as if I had children. Have you had these thoughts or felt this way? I know the vast majority of child-free women I've asked have. It doesn't help that people are so quick to remind us too, saying things like, you're missing out, you'll never know true love, you'll be lonely, you'll never experience the miracle of life, or you'll never be a whole woman. Well, I've been immersed in personal development, healing, and spiritual journeys pretty much my whole life, ever since I was 12 years old. By my early 20s, I was pretty confident in my choice and talking about it out loud. I was fortunate to have been raised by a loving feminist father who instilled in me a high sense of love and self-esteem. So I truly believed that I wasn't less than a woman. I knew I deserved love, and I was confident that my child-free choice was the right path for me. But there was still this unconscious belief that I was resigning to something instead of choosing something. Like, I'm giving up being a mother and I'm okay missing out on that. That's how I was feeling. Until I realized that living that way wasn't enough. And how did I realize that? Well, because comments from other people about my child-free choice would still trigger me or upset me, I would look for ways to prove myself or the world that I was actually confident and happy in my child-free choice. I would look for evidence that having kids wasn't great. I would put myself in a high moral ground to feel like my child-free choice is the smarter, more ethical choice. And I would be upset or frustrated seeing how other people had kids without being prepared or thinking about the real consequences. Now, if you notice, all of these things that I mentioned have nothing to do with me and my choice. They have everything to do with other people and external factors. So when I realized this, it felt like a light bulb moment. I really thought I had made a conscious choice and that I was truly confident about it, but all I was doing was focusing on everything outside of me. What I did, how I looked, what I achieved, how other people looked, what they did, and how all of that proved something. It was all focused on saying no to motherhood instead of saying yes to my child-free choice and having that be the focus. That's when I knew I had to turn my eyes and my focus inward. I had to say yes to my child-free life, not to how that is supposed to look, but how I wanted it to feel. I always said I loved my freedom, but was I truly free? Was I free from the judgments, fears, expectations, social constructs, and definitions? I definitely wasn't. Not as much as I thought or pretended to be. At the time this realization came to me, I had been reading and studying about feminine energy, the female cycle, and feminine archetypes. And while it all resonated with me, it still felt like all of those concepts and teaching had motherhood as a central idea of what a woman is. It wasn't until years later when I found myself in a woman's retreat where the main idea was to heal our wombs. And there is when I finally understood that being a child-free woman is as natural, important, and sacred as birthing children. I remember that feeling that came over me that day as I sat in a circle with another 100 women. All of a sudden, it all made sense. It's all important. It's all needed. It's all sacred. I am a woman. I am part of nature, not separate from it. And there is wisdom in nature. The earth knows how to survive and thrive. Nobody can question why or how the earth does this. Our job is just to respect it, revere it, listen to it, and let it be. This was the first time that I truly felt 100% normal. Like there was absolutely nothing wrong with me. And actually, that everything I am, including my child-free choice, is indeed right. I actually felt empowered, not just looked empowered. My journey of reconnecting to my essence, my nature, and my wisdom continues to unfold, and I look forward to talking more about it here. There is a special kind of wisdom that child-free women carry. I call it child-free wisdom. And that's what this podcast is about. I'm here to share my child-free wisdom and to remind you of yours. Because if you're child-free, trust me, you are wise beyond your years. But the outside noise can make it hard to hear. My intention with this podcast is that you leave every episode feeling inspired and empowered in your child-free choice, and to remember the goddess-given gifts and wisdom you've always carried. It has been a pleasure spending this time with you, and I look forward to connecting with you. To learn more and join any of my group programs like the Childfree Women's Circle or the Childfree Sisterhood, visit my website www.childfreegoddess.com. And before going to bed tonight, take a few minutes to write yourself a love note. List at least one thing you did today you want to thank yourself for, and one thing you want to forgive yourself for. Remember that sisterhood starts within, and you deserve to receive a piece of the love you give to everything around you. Until next time, Goddess.